Artie, explain to the people that have checked out or feeling sorry for themselves. Why do you still look towards the light?
Why? Because I think my whole life I've looked towards the light. It's just me. Always try to make things better, and always try to make it better for other people. It's just me. And the fact that I had the talent of music to open the doors for me very young. And we needed the light. God Almighty, we were the war babies. I was born at 42. That's the year we bombed in Japan. So it's like, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, a lot of people didn't. You maintain that spirit your whole life. A lot of the cats that claim that they were for peace and love, and they checked out, man. A lot of them just went for dough. I mean, I'm not saying that money's not great, but I'm just saying that you kept. Is it fair to say you kept that essence your whole life?
Oh yeah. Well, everybody was trying to make money on Woodstock. I must have done 30,000 interviews in 52 years.
Yeah, we're talking about everything but Woodstock, Kornfeld.
Oh, well, what do you mean?
I mean, we're talking Buddy Saltzman. We're talking. Do you know how important it is to identify the heroes, the original wrecking crew of New York? I'm not talking Purdy. I'm talking before Purdy, before Everett Barksdale and those cats.
Yeah, well, you know who the best engineer was for rock records?
Framboni?
No, Brooks Arthur.
Yeah, dude.
He did all the Goffin and King records.
He did it right. The engineer that way, and then, but like, can you talk about how? I want you to talk more specifically about Brother Kaplan and you. Would you get him to write out? Would you lay down the rhythm and the horn parts and then put the vocals on? How would you do?
No, like on Bensonhurst Blues.
Yeah.
We were sitting in his basement, and it was in snow in Valley Cottage up by Nyack. And he played a chord, and out of nowhere, we didn't even have we were just sitting there. Out of nowhere, I just said, Bay Parkway, wonder, because I come from Bay Parkway.
Right.
In Bensonhurst, and Artie almost fell over because he didn't know why I came up with that. And then I developed it, and I didn't know what I was developing. It took me 30 years to know what I said and to know why I said it. It was like,
yeah, I know. It was poetry, man.
Well, yeah, and then, I always wondered, because we got hysterical laughing because we did the whole lyric. And then Artie put that great Davin kind of thing in the middle.
Yeah.
And when I said at the end, don't bother to write, don't bother to call, because I'll be in confidence. Merry Christmas, y'all. And that was sort of like a Jewish Christian thing.
I did. No, I get it. I mean, like...
It seems don't turn into... I mean, I don't really believe Clive is Jewish.
Say again?
I don't believe that some people... the thing that we seem to have, the drive and the fairness, and that's important. That's why I've turned down money, and I've done it. I was only paid when the government of Korea brought me over for 2 weeks. And that's the only time I took money because it was an expensive trip.
Yeah.
But it made a big difference over there. I met with the underground press, and they had to meet me in 2 stories in a basement below a basement because if they were found, because a lot of them had been arrested in Korea, for being subversive.
Right.
If they found us, we would have got automatic 35 years in jail. And that was exciting being there. And the interview, because they were sharp kids, and they reminded me of myself.
What was your experience with Sri Chinmoy or Swami Satchidananda?
Okay, well, by the way, was it you that circled Richie in between?
What do you mean?
someone sent a picture of the one where Michael came over to be in, and I'm sitting next to Saxon Denonder, and someone circled him and said, "Who?" And the guy next to us, and said, "Who is this guy?" And the funny thing is, I wanted to buy a motorcycle, and there was a shop. I used to commute up Queens Boulevard, and there was a shop, and the kid worked in the shop. And then I didn't see him for about 3 years. And then his name was, he had a different name. He walked in, and I said, "Richie." He said, "No, my name is Sridhar." I said, "Sridhar?" I knew he was Richie Ginsburg, or whatever his name was.
Wow.
And he was with another friend of mine that also had met Sachi Denanda. And then Peter Max, I knew, and he was a follower of Sachi Denanda. And they just talked to me, and I thought it would be a great thing. And I just said, "Michael, I don't want him to go on after the stage, after the music. I would love Sachi Denanda to get there and put over the field that vibe of peace and caring about your fellow mankind."
Yeah, that's right.
And that's why I had him come out there, and it worked, because it worked, One festival with 500,000 people in 4 days.
Did you have him there all 4 nights, or just one night?
Oh, I don't know. I was really busy. I was working.
Right.
He was. I don't know what he was doing.
Right.
It's like I don't know what Wave he was doing.
I mean, Wavy was introducing. People knew what Mucilix was, but he was introducing hippies to granola.
Yeah, well, you know what? When Michael told me that he chartered a plane to fly in Wavy and 80 hog farmers, and I had already been to their place in Santa Fe, or Albuquerque. I stayed on that farm.
What was the farm called?
Oh, I forgot. It was just a hog farm.
The hog farm. You were on the hog farm, Artie?
Yeah.
Oh, this is fantastic, man.
Yeah, well, I was in the book, these Kool-Aid acid tests.
Well, hold on for a second. Let's just, first of all, did you knew Hugh Romney at the Gaslight, or is that when you first met him, or when did you meet Wavy?
No, I knew. Well, first of all, when I knew you. He was unknown in my world, because my world, I knew Quincy Jones. I knew.
Yeah, I did. You were rolling with the music producers and cats, like, yeah.
Right, and he was. I wasn't a clown.
But I just felt like, I mean, didn't the Mama and the Papas play the Gaslight? I mean, that's like a Mama Cast special there.
Oh yeah. Well, that's a Mama Cast special. And the Mamas and Papas. Lou Adler did a great job producing it.
He did, yeah.
And I went to college with Cass, so I knew Cass before the Mamas and Papas.
But I'm saying, what my point was that you weren't spending your free time down to the Village watching poetry and jazz.
Oh no,
yeah.
I was in the studio.
Right.
I produced 65 albums in 55 years.
But you knew of him. You just didn't know him at the time. Wavy.
Oh yeah, I knew Lenny Bruce.
You knew Lenny?
Yeah, I knew Lenny. Yeah. And I knew when Steve Martin played Coconut Grove. It was the second show, and I was there in the Cocoa Plum. No, it was called Bubba's. It was Bubba's, and Steve Allen. Steve Martin was so hysterical that I had to leave because I was going to throw up.
Oh my God, dude! The man. Wait, he was a pretty badass banjo player too.
Well, he was okay.
He was okay. Yeah, no, better. I mean, better comedian, better actor. Unbelievable.
Eric Weisberg, who did Deliverance.
Whoa! Stop right there. Eric. Let's just talk about. He connected again. Him and Huey connected us, dude. Weisberg his spirit lives on, dude. That is unbelievable.
Yeah.
You did Deliverance?
No, but Eric was I used Eric on the George Segal album. I did, because George played banjo, but not very well.
What Segal album?
It was called the Yama Yama Man.
Oh my
God! And
God!
it was on Mercury, and it's a funny thing. I cut Suzanne and Leonard Cohen. When I met Leonard Cohen in Puerto Rico,
Right.
he was sitting in a restaurant at 3 in the morning, and we were looking at each other like we knew each other. And then he said, "Who are you?" I said, "I'm Artie Kornfeld." He says, "Oh, you've had hits in Canada as a writer." I said, "What do you do?" He said, "Well, I'm a writer." And he gave me a tape, and I know someone had given me a tape earlier because I signed Leon Bibb.
Yeah, you copied his song Suzanne.
I didn't copy.
No, you didn't copy. You covered it.
I did the first record.
But how did you have access to his lyrics?
He gave me a demo.
So this was before Puerto Rico? He gave you a demo?
Yeah. Well, when I met him in Puerto Rico, the Leon Bibb record had just come out.
Okay, so you were reconnecting with him randomly at some restaurant at 3 in the morning.
Oh, we just happened to be sitting there.
That's hysterical.
And we became friends. And I was sad the way his trip went, but he was, he was magnificent in a very esoteric, almost like, a very guru kind of way.
I dig, man. I dig. It's like high. It's almost beyond words,
Yeah, and his version of Hallelujah was incredible.
I'm really trying to square the circle here. You're rubbing elbows with Quincy Jones and hanging with all the cats, and then you wind up at the hog farm in New Mexico. How did that happen?
Oh no, I was going to produce Lita Ford in L.A. and I had come to Miami for a while, and they sent me $50,000 up front, and I said, "Well, I'm tired of flying over the country, and I have my wife and daughter with me." I said, "I'm going to get some stuff and camp out on the way out," and I did.
Wow.
I rented a Ford station wagon. I put a thing on top. I had a Coleman tent, a Coleman stove. I had a survival knife tied to my thigh, with my shorts, and climbing up the Badlands, the bluffs.
Wow.
And that was great. And I kept running out of money. The funny part is I ran out of money almost in LA in the Grand Canyon, overflow parking lot, and I was broke. So
what did you do? How the heck did you get out of there?
Well, I had my guitar, and I started picking out the country people, and I started singing country songs to them, and they give me food, they give me money.
That's so. You're talking across the country. You'd stop in the country and play music, and you'd get tips.
Yeah.
That wasn't just at the Grand Canyon. That was like multiple times.
Oh yeah. Well, you know what? I never had trouble relating to people. I mean, I was president of my class in college. I always was able to get through to people because I'm honest. And on interviews, people always say, "Well, do you want to know the questions?" And I say, "No, why?"
Yeah, give me a break. That's the most boring interview ever.
Yeah, it's going to be the same answer because it's the truth. I don't lie. It's the truth. Maybe me saying I don't lie wasn't the truth. But I don't lie. There's an answer to a question, and if I know it, I'm the only one who knows the answer to that question, and it's the truth. And I love I love some people that sometimes write in, like I'll say someone's playing the drums, and they'll write something else, and then I'll go, "Oh my God!" But I won't counter, posts because I don't want to get into it.
Right.
That's not, Woodstock's not a competition to me. It was us, all of us.
Yeah, I mean, I just, when you, along the way, who were you producing, by the way, when you went across the country?
I was going out to produce Lita Ford.
And along the way, you stopped off at the hog farm, is that right?
Yeah, well, we got to Jersey, and I stayed there for a week at a friend's house. And then I saw, I think, Tom Law or Lisa, and I rode up north, and there was a farm, and we stayed there for a week. And it was interesting. I wasn't really a commune kind of person. I was a Brooklyn Jewish kid.
Absolutely. Absolutely. No, it's just funny because I'm going to see Wavy on Thursday in Berkeley. I'm flying out to San Francisco. So it's just really cosmic that we're talking right now. You wound up you were part of the acid test in Los Angeles or San Francisco?
No, I was a part of the acid test. I became part of the acid test because when I was staying at I was staying with Rosemary Leary the week that Tim got out of jail. Okay, and that brought me in. Plus the fact I was very close with Ken Kesey's ex-wife, Fetch and Gretchen, in the Kool-Aid acid test. And Gretchen and I were very close. So it's like, that's how I got to know them.
Well, but hold on. I want the truth here because I wrote a whole book on the Merry Pranksters, and we talked about this. You said you only knew Gretchen from the Trident waitress thing. You didn't tell me you were, like, you wound up
I also know when I had the house on top of the Fairmont, and she'd come over, you know. The way we met is she was my waitress at the Sausalito.
Right.
The restaurant, the Trident, right? And she was a waitress, Gretchen. And there was this tall, pretty girl, and she came over. And I had a Nikon after those days. I had 14 lenses. And I left the whole thing at the restaurant. And I went to Tommy Smothers' place in Mill Valley. And then I realized I didn't have the camera, so I called the restaurant, and she was the waitress. So I drove back, and that's how we met.
But you did wind up in Tom Wolfe's book, or you just knew the Merry Pranksters?
Well, I got to know Gretchen very well, and I knew what they were doing, but I was more used to like Billy Crystal was a friend of mine.
Right.
My friends were in the band on the first Saturday Night Live show.
Yeah, no, Paul Schaefer and those cats?
No, they weren't in. That was the day of Hugh McCracken being in, and
oh my God!
And
who? Bob Cranshaw?
Yeah.
Bobby Cranshaw was in the band.
Yeah, he was.
Oh my God! Howard Johnson, maybe?
I don't remember.
I mean, but you're saying you and Gretchen were tight, but did Gretchen ever take you to La Honda or Cat? Did you meet Neil Cassidy and those cats, or did you ever meet the Pranksters?
Well, I'm sure I did because I knew a lot of people. I don't know.
But you know what? Your memory's perfect. You know if you hung out with Ken Kesey or Neil Cassidy.
Oh no, I know my connection with Kesey. I know my connection with Larry. I know my connection with Wavy because Michael and I threw a benefit at the Cafe A Go-Go to get Larry's defense money when he got arrested.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Get out of here, Artie. Dude, wait, hold on. How did...
By the way, Rosemary dosed me.
Why did Leary reach out to you, or why did you guys decide to do a fundraiser for him?
No, we just said, Michael wanted to be hip, and he really wanted to be a part. And he wasn't a musician, so he couldn't get in that way. So we tried to get on the sociological part of our generation. And we were the war babies. Come on, we were the biggest generation that'll ever be in the history of the world. And that's why I did my radio show every Tuesday night for 5 years, because I was disappointed when I was seeing writing and people were talking about the music, and they weren't talking about why that crowd got there, because when I advertised, putting peace before music was for a reason. It was 3 days of peace and music, not music and peace.
Right.
Because when people ask me who was the star of Woodstock, I say the crowd. Because I saw what they were going through, and it was amazing how great they were. The crowd was, incredible. And I'm just so lucky when it comes to Woodstock. But we're not talking about Woodstock. We're talking about music. But if you want to talk about Woodstock...
No, it's the last thing I want to talk about. I think everybody talks to you about that. It's probably the most boring thing I could think of. I mean...
No, I love passing it on because I go to a different level that they know.
What was the? Did you do? Were you involved with the Isle of Wight, or did you do any other major festivals after Woodstock?
No. You know what? I turned down doing. In fact, Neil Young wrote about it in Rolling Stone. He said the reason Woodstock 2 and 3 didn't happen is my friend Artie Kornfeld refused to sell out. And that's what happened. I refused to sell out. I didn't want to do another copy for money.
What year was that?
That was about, what year was that? Maybe 79 or something.
And what was the major, quote unquote, what would you have sold out about?
Just trying to make money off a miracle. You can't copy a miracle.
Okay. So it was more like, yeah, I get it. So that thing never even you quashed it right away, or did it actually have some traction and then you were like, no, this is not working?
Oh, no, to tell you the truth, Sid Bernstein who brought the Beatles over.
Right.
And Bill Hanley, who did the sound for Woodstock, the live sound. I was approached. They wanted me to do a free concert on Bethel Woods.
Yeah.
And then Michael wanted me to just come in to just so we could be seen together, and then we'd have the feeling of Woodstock. Because the advertising was like Park Avenue advertising. My advertising like I was promoting a record. And I went to the stations myself, and I met with all the revolutionary groups in America. It was funny. I met with the Black Panthers in Oakland. That's where Buddy Miles and I became friends.
Whoa! You met with Eldridge Cleaver?
Yeah.
Why?
Don't forget, my mother founded the Freedom Rides. So I met a lot of these people when I was young, like 14.
Well, who were you around at a very young age from the Black political movement?
Well, it wasn't the blacks, but Harry Belafonte.
Oh yeah, rest in peace, God.
I signed Jimmy Castor, the singer. Haley, where your mom's calling?
Oh, totally, man. I haven't thought about that cat in years.
Yeah, well, I signed him, and it was funny. When we went to Harlem together, he was a mayor of Harlem, so he could carry a piece. So I was more secure because Harlem was not that peaceful.
No, he was packing heat, so Artie Kornfeld felt okay, man.
Yeah, no, I would go there with him.
Oh, dude, no white cats would go there on their own, dude. That's awesome. So you'd go to the Club Baby Grand and see Jimmy Smith? What would you do?
Well, you know what? I did take my family, and no travel agency was allowed to book anybody to go to the island of Dominica.
Whoa!
Because it was all black.
Right.
And I rented a place there, and I stayed there for almost a year. And because I was a great baseball player, I was like the star cricket player.
Oh my God, dude! Wait, what was this hotel called?
Oh, this is the island of Dominica, the one that got wiped out by the hurricane last year.
Oh my God!
Yeah, I was there, and it was wonderful. It's all a rainforest. You know what I liked about it? You got 300. How many days are there in the year?
365.
Yeah, it got 365 inches of rain. It had 365 rivers.
Wow.
And everything was 365 on Dominica, and every day there'd be a terrible downpour for 10 minutes, every day. And Dominica was all a rainforest, but the British and French had made it so hard for the black people who lived there to make money that, I don't know, it was a miracle for us because we got no hey whitey kind of stuff.
I'm sorry, why? You just, okay, so I said, did you go in Harlem with Castor? Was Castor taking you to the jazz clubs, or were you just hanging out up there?
Yeah, no, maybe we know, what's a friend of ours who sang, if I was a mountain of clay, I walk out the door.
Lloyd Price?
G. McDaniels.
G. McDaniels?
Yeah.
Oh my God, dude! Are you kidding me, dude?
Yeah, and his wife was beautiful, and Jean was great.
That's so beautiful, man. I love hearing about Artie up in Harlem, dude.
Yeah, well, he was on Mercury, you know.
Dude, were you part of the Tom T. Hall Mercury country stuff?
No, I was the one who put out Roger Miller, who put out Chuggalog and King of the Road. You know, and because Shelby Singleton, who was there before me, he was a country. His wife was Margie Singleton, who was a big country singer. And then Shelby resigned and went back to Nashville. And no, I didn't have a strong connection with Nashville.
No.
But I lived in North Carolina, so I knew the music.
But I mean, you'd have country cats come up and be backed by New York studio bands to play country records.
Yeah, well, no, they'd come up and no, the whole trip was getting them promote. I didn't know promotion. That's why my best records were not the hits. They were the records I put everything into, and I didn't know radio promotion.
Right.
I didn't know how to do it. So the first time I really promoted one of my acts is when I promoted the Cowsills in the park. But I had put out some great acts because I had Debbie Harry in the Wind of the Willows. I had Buzzy Linhart. I had Bert Summer. You know, and Bert Summer, I started to know promotion. If Bert was in the Woodstock movie, he would have been bigger than Elton John.
Well, you know who I talked to? You know who I interviewed yesterday who was at Woodstock and told a great story, and I'll tell you, and then you can riff on it. Elliot Kahn.
Oh, Elliot?
Yeah. Elliot from Sha Na Na. I mean, to me, he said that the last day was Sunday, and the musicians got stuck at the venue, and him and his girlfriend wound up in Grace Slick and Paul Kantner's room, and then eventually they got down there, and then they had to wait because Sha Na Na was really not a very big name, and they had to wait for Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young, and it was the end of the night. It was probably like early Monday morning, and Hendrix knew them from the Cafe Go-Go, and he liked Sha Na Na, and he said, "Hey, you guys can go up and play," and so they did. They played to that mud. But the thing that he said, I just want to finish.
It's a little more than that because I got them their record deal and got them released on Buddha Kama Sutra.
They had not, at that point, they had not put out a record. That you might have had the deal in place. I don't know.
Oh, no, they came to me. And Peter Shikariak, who was Melanie's husband, came to my office at 1650 Broadway, and I didn't have a way to get it out, so I went to my friends who were in Kama Sutra Buddha, and I said, why don't you give these guys a chance? And we did, so they signed them. And she had out Beautiful People, and I got a brand new pair of roller skates. She got a brand new key.
Oh, yeah.
And,
yeah.
That was a great song, Beautiful People. I say I'm a songwriter, so I always lean towards what's the song all about.
But Artie, this is the point. After I said, what was so significant about Woodstock? And Elliot said, and this was at a time, like, as you know, I wasn't born, 3 TV stations, handful of radio stations. He said it led the nightly news for at least 3 or 4 days.
Well, you know what? It had a good promotion guy, me, and you know what? People don't realize it. The people on the field with Michael were trying to move dirt. We were trying to move a nation, and we did it with a very small budget. When Bob Geldof called me on the 50th anniversary, and I was the only person he interviewed on the BBC for an hour and a half about Woodstock, you know, and then he said, Artie, if we were only friends, Live Nation would still be going on. And I said, I was just excited to meet him because I think he did a great job with Live Aid. You know, that blew my mind. You know, I imagine what it would have been like to be in the middle of that. And so, but Sha Na Na, as a matter of fact, the drummer, Jocko,
yeah.
Yeah, his wife was my secretary at my company in California. So I know them on a different level. I know their manager, Eddie. And he's who came to me with the tapes originally. And I just thought it was good to, and Michael thought so too, that it was good to have a group that would take people back to why rock happened on a commercial level.
I dig. I think thank you for articulating it. What was going on in the 50s on a commercial level?
Oh yeah, well I don't know. I was listening to. I was into doo-wop. It was hard to be a young kid in New York and not be into doo-wop.
Absolutely. No. I was fascinated because it sounded like a real theatrical performance and not a lot of singing. Definitely not a lot of. I mean, it was basically a thrown together band from Columbia, and I was like, what was the appeal here? And it's just so hard for a kid that was born in '78 to realize how vapid and crazy and how Leave It to Beaver, the 50s was, and here's this band channeling that essence, but doing it in a modern way, in a very schizophrenic but effective way.
Yeah, well, at the Woodstock, that wasn't the exact original Sean and our band.
Really?
Yeah, there were some other guys that were replaced. No, they did a great job. People laughed that they were going to be in there, but it worked. It worked. Whether it was by accident or thought, it worked.
What about you? I just interviewed Edgar Winter. What was the Winter Brothers performance like?
Well, I wasn't a fan of them. I didn't like their music. So
Right.
I didn't even get involved with watching them or anything like that.
I did. Were you up in the morning at 3, holding up the floorboards for Sly Stone at 3 in the morning when the monsoon came in?
No. My Sly Stone is before. First of all, he was booked and it was announced, and then he had caused a riot after that at the Newport Jazz, and I was worried about.
Hold on, what do you mean a riot? I've never heard that.
Well, Sly like white powder. What can I tell you?
Even in 66, he was snorting coke.
Well, before me, because I didn't start till 67.
Okay, so hold on. You're telling me that he was all coked up and freaked out at Newport Jazz Festival?
Well, I don't know what he was, but there was a riot when he was on.
Oh, my God.
And so I had to get to him. So before he went on, I pulled him aside backstage, and we talked for a half hour. And I said, Sly, you see that crowd? You can't go into your militant, I want to take you higher right away. You got to really be more the everyday people, Sly Stone. Just think I am everyday people. Then look at that crowd and you'll see those are everyday people.
Right.
So give them the show of their life. And then Sly came out, and I cleared the whole stage because I didn't want anything to set him off. So it was just my late wife, Michael Wadley with his camera, and we were in between the audience and Sly. And when we got caught in the middle of I Want to Take You Higher, and Chip Monk, the lighting director, put the lights on the stage, and it blew me away. I got so fucking out of it just being in the middle of 500,000 people going, higher. It was great.
But I mean, I'm very close with Gregorico, the drummer, and he said that it was torrential downpours and there were dozens of cats underneath holding up the floorboards of the stage so it wouldn't cave in.
Well, that's an outsider's view.
He was playing drums.
No, but I'm talking about the people that built the stage and how to take care of it.
But was it? I just want to be clear. It was early morning and it was raining.
He was the drummer at the concert. He didn't design the stage.
No. But I want to be clear. I want to be clear. But I just want to be clear. It was early in the morning and it was pouring rain.
Well, no, we had seen the Farmer's Almanac. It was supposed to rain that weekend. And the rain just came. All of a sudden, the wind picked up, and all of a sudden, the canvases started shaking.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, I was very scared because I didn't want to be responsible for some kid getting killed because the towers fell down and wiped out 200 people. And I said to Lang, I said, Michael, you know, my dad was a cop, so I knew some of this stuff. And I said, you know, Dad, I said, Mike, I said, you know, if one of those towers goes down and wipes out 100 people or 200 people, you know, we could be facing a manslaughter charge because we invited him and we put it up. And it was supposed to be safe, you know. And unfortunately, the powers that be, it's a good thing Zach Denanda spoke first, right?
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right, dude. There you go, man.
Yeah, and besides, John Lennon got me into the Maharishi, and I've been chanting. I've been doing Transcendental for years before Woodstock.
What? Really?
It's just to keep my sanity.
Wait, hold on. When did Lennon hip you to Maharishi? 65?
We were in the studio. I was doing an act from Florida, and he was doing either the one that followed Imagine.
Yeah.
We were both in the record plant. And I kept away because the musicians playing on his album were all my musicians, too. And Linda kept going in there, and she knew them. And so anyway, you want to hear how I met Lennon? This is a very funny story.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, this is a classic. Okay, I adore Lennon. I adore just with Imagine what he said with a couple of words. He just said so much, right?
Right.
And I love his songs. And Paul's songs are pop, so I don't know. Like when I first got in the Capitol, I Want to Hold Your Hand. I hated it, you know, because I put out Hanky Panky as a favorite, you know, but now I'm putting out I Want to Hold Your Hand. And I thought it was a bubblegum record, and it was, you know. So anyway, I'm in the studio, and I'm producing a guy who went on to win, what are they, Tony Awards on Broadway?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, he went on to win 3 Tony Awards. That's music in a Broadway show. And Mickey and Babs Get Hot on Private Stock, where I got the, anyway.
So wait, hold on. You were already in love with Lennon, but the first time you met him, that was what you were telling me.
Okay. Here's what happens. So I'm in the studio, we're doing like 12, 13 hours a day. And I'm beat up, and it's about 10 o'clock, 11 at night, but we already work since 7 in the morning, and we were beat up. And the musicians were, and I said, okay, everybody go home. We'll pick it up tomorrow at 10 in the morning. And then I said, I can't wait to get into the bathroom because I had pharmaceutical blow, and I wanted to put... By the way, I'm sober 46 years and founded Cocaine Anonymous.
Yes.
So I had to stop. But I didn't have to stop at 23. So I took and I put 4 lines in the back of a urinal when I'm peeing.
Oh,
and I wasn't really peeing. I was starting the 4 lines, and I feel a stream of water going down my left leg. Okay? And I turn around, and there's John Lennon's head on my shoulder. Oh. And he says, oh, you pardon me, mate. You know, he says, I can't see a bit without my specs, and I left you in the studio. And first of all, now I'm a successful music guy, but I'm talking to fucking John Lennon.
Hold on, you're telling me that you never had one conversation before this, and then
No, I met him when he peed on my leg.
He put his head on your shoulder while you were peeing on your leg.
Yeah, and then he said, who are you? I said, I'm Artie Kornfeld. He said, you know, now this is even more fun. He said, you know, the first 45 I ever bought was your song, The Pied Piper by Crispy and St. Peter.
Oh, man.
And I said, I can't believe John Lennon just told me one of my songs is one of his favorite records. I couldn't believe it. I was just shocked. And then we talked.
Hold on for a second. I want to be clear about this. Had you gone to a Beatles concert? Did you have their records? I'm curious about, like, when he was...
Yeah, I was the head of rock at Capitol.
Right. I'm just curious about, like, what year was that?
I guess it was around It was the year they did Shea Stadium.
Yeah, that was like 65.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, because I brought the Hollies to America in '64.
had you seen them in concert
The Beatles? No.
prior
No,
to
but
Lennon putting his head on your shoulder? You had not seen them in concert.
That was the John Lennon, and it was bizarre how we met. And what happened was, we started to meet at 2 and 3 in the morning after sessions, and sitting in the lounge at the record player just talking.
Right.
And we never talked about the music business. We never talked about songs. We didn't talk about Woodstock. We didn't talk about Beatles. We just talked about what was going on.
Right.
You know,
Regular shit. Yeah.
Yeah, there was no bragging or any of that stuff.
No, man, all those guys were, selfless cats. I mean, geniuses, but
yeah, well, you know what? It amazes me that I hung with those cats, and I never thought of myself as a genius, but I knew that I loved people and I loved music, and that was a good formula.
Artie, we're going to do set 3 next week when I get back from the Bay Area. I got a jam right now. We just cooked for another 41 minutes.
You got it.
All right,
no
man.
problem.
Love you, man.
Hey.
Yeah.
Hey, take care, everybody.
All right. Be cool, brother.
Be here because you're not all there.
Dude, be here now, Ramdas, dude.
Oh, Jeffrey.
Dick Alpert. No, we'll get into that next time. We'll get into next time. Yeah.
I'll tell you about my argument with him.
Absolutely, dude. Be cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.